Welcome to Alternatone, Micah. Today we are gonna be throwing it back. We're gonna revisit the song that I think really started my journey off in music in earnest. I've always written songs. I always wanted to stay away from covers, but I had gotten to a point where it felt really important to me to do a cover song in the Chamorro language. So, for those of you who don't know, I was born on Guam and I'm half Chamorro, half Haole, half white. And so I asked my dad what Chamorro song I should cover. And he said Inner Voices by Marianas Homegrown. And I listened to the original and I knew that it was important to people. And I knew that if I was going to cover it, that I needed to do something different with it. All in all, from recording this thing to mixing it, I took way too long to mix this. I think all in all, this took me like 2 years to do. Because I was recording some of it at the studio that I was working at the time. I would record a lot of things at home, and I would tweak the mix way too much. I just listened back to this, and this mix was not worth so long, tweaking for so long. But I don't regret anything because this song really kicked things off for me in earnest. Not because it brought me any large amount of success, but it really reinforced to me, firstly, how much I care about music and how much I care about sharing it. But it just really helped me solidify kind of what my sound was going to be, what my approach was going to be. And it really inspired me to keep going with music, to keep getting better, to play more shows out, to write a lot more. And I am really, really grateful to this song for that. And so in order to pay my full respects, I really should thank Marianas Homegrown. They wrote this song that has come to mean a lot to the people of Guam and the Marianas and those of us in the diaspora. So the original song is kind of a country tune, but I was interested in taking it a different space. I had this. I don't know really how I still have this. This session's got to be, I mean, I would have done this in like 2018, probably. I had a hard drive crash, so I'm missing other things, and I've transferred, rigs multiple times. I'm missing plugins here, but all of the original stuff is there, and I got really emotional looking at all of this stuff again and listening back to how different my voice is and how different my arranging intuition is. But I learned so many things from making this song, because this is the first song that was so simple. It's just the same chords over and over again, but it just like allows for so many other things to come out. So what we're gonna go through today isn't the fully mixed thing because I'm missing stuff, but everything that I meant to be there is there. So with that, let's hop into it. My version of Inner Voices, wow, this is old because I have my whole updated thing up here, and I guess in order to get the metronome to run the way that I wanted to, it's in 6/4. We'll see. So let's hit it. Yeah. The final mix, there's definitely been more polish up top. Thanks to a fantastic mastering engineer, Abo Mardikian. So not everything in here is locked in the way that it originally was, but I'll start pointing out some fun stuff. Firstly, the drums are nothing fancy. I probably, at the time, would have programmed this with an OP1. I remember rocking an OP1 for a really long time, and I probably loaded in my own samples, which is why this is just the same thing. So these would have been the 4 tracks that you can have on an OP1, and I would have exported them. I mean, nowadays I might even overproduce this kind of thing, but it's just one sound. I remember I'm very, very into D'Angelo, and the song "Really Love" has like a very, very clear and crisp snap that I am definitely. And I would have played that up. I would have made it really, really hi-fi sounding. And then that side stick, like a mellow or woody side stick. Yeah, totally my kind of thing at the time. And then let's find out that I don't know how hard this grooves. I mean, I would have probably focused on having this groove harder now, but it's kind of a purdy shuffle. Yeah. It doesn't really sound like a person playing a drum kit, but it kind of works for the vibe, I guess. Again, for those who don't know, Inner Voices is sung in Chamorro, the native language of Guam in the Northern Marianas, and English, right? And the English is sung by Chuck McJohn, and the Chamorro is sung by J.D. Crutch. And I had this idea originally that I was going to have my like state side band members play on the English stuff, and I was gonna get my friends from Guam to play the Chamorro. So I don't remember entirely how all of that played out. It looks like I made some decisions around that, maybe based on the mix, maybe based on the feel. But going from the bottom here, my friends Shannon and John make up the band Microchild. You should listen to their music. It's really gorgeous. I always have so much appreciation for their artistry. I sent Shannon and John the track. They're both multi-instrumentalists, but John was a bass player. And so he played this. And I mean, I probably told them to lay back, because I think on a song like this, someone's intuition would be to, wow, let's fill the space, right? Let's play more. But I mean, he probably doesn't hit a single fill this entire time. Barely. Yeah. But he's got a really jazzy feel. Their kind of background is in jazz. And so they both have fantastic feels. John really held it down here. It swings, but it sits back like R&B. I'm really, really happy with what he did. Another person from like the Guam music scene that I got involved here is Ryan Shook. And he's a great dude. He is very involved in music on island, and has a really heavy footprint in the music scene. I don't really know if this is his thing, but it felt right to ask him to do it. And so I had him lay in guitars, and the way that I asked everybody to contribute was, give me more and I'll cut away. I was kind of on this kick where I was really inspired by film editing and the idea of capturing a performance and then editing it down. And so I asked for a lot of coverage. Clearly, in the case of Ryan, I decided to go with most of it, if not all. But his touch on here was much more ambient, which isn't something that I was anticipating, but I think makes the track, right? And I might have done, what did I do to his guitar? Yeah, I probably, just to accentuate some of the stuff he did, I just added a little bit of texture, just a little bit of movement to what he did. But the slidey kind of swell stuff is great. And again, I just feel like he really picked the right moments to play. I love stuff like that because it shows an awareness of what the focal points are, right? Like, this song is very heavily lyric based. I think the vocal pulls a lot of weight here. And there's moments for everything to shine, but I just feel like things should stay out of the way of each other when somebody's taking center stage. And Ryan did such a good job of choosing moments to complement what's going on. I love that. You know, it just has so much texture, so much heart behind it. Another person that I got to contribute to this, it was a friend of mine named Rob Aragon, who is a guitarist and a producer. Probably had him come over, and this looks like I've probably comped this together. It's labeled that, right? It's comp and merge. So he probably did a lot of things, and I chose. But again, part of the reason I love working with Rob is he has got such a solid sense of melodic guitar lines. I love the choices that he makes, and he knows how to fill space really well, and he knows where to sit. It's a common theme that you're going to hear when I get anybody else involved. The reason I'm getting that person involved is because they get a sense of how to contribute to the track and not step on it. And Rob, he just don't ever have to do much, right? So let's see. I mean, nothing crazy, but these. Yeah, I mean, it's really not anything complex, but the reason it works so well is that it feels so heartfelt. The bass line of this song, like the emotional height of this song, it's so like low in general that anything that we did felt like a gravitational shift. So like, yeah, it's so small, but every time, yeah. Anytime that you like somebody does actually play something, it feels like a moment. It feels really big. There's so little going on that it really allows space for your ear to get taken places. That was my intention, at least. I probably played this acoustic guitar. If it's not good, it's probably me. That's definitely me. All of my guitar playing is going to be in like just like bar chord kind of thing. Like it's going to be super, super basic. And then I'm an ukulele player, and this would have gone in to kind of, again, accentuate, just to help add those little ear candy kind of details. It sits really low in the mix. Yeah. Yeah, the ukulele, you hear it a few times, but I remember when I was making this, the intention was just like the ukulele is an incredible texture. Like there's so many different ways to play it. It's used for a lot of different things, but I think the way that I tend to use it, I oftentimes use it to accentuate and spell out the higher end of a voicing that starts with a lower instrument. So I usually will play ukulele and guitar and layer them together, but have a slightly more complex chord spelled out with the ukulele, because the ukulele is very conducive to like 6 voicings and like minor 7 voicings. And so oftentimes I'll find an extended voicing to layer on top of something that's a bit more triad-y or a little bit more locked inversion-wise. Yeah, I'll definitely do some riffs, but it's definitely, yeah, more chordal. But I think another great thing to do with the ukulele to make it really sound thick is to play 2 different voicings of the same chord as I put them left and right. In this case, let's see what's going on here. Well, I'm not a keyboard player, but there's a purported Wurlitzer. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it's the Logic stock piano with some Wolf compressor. and some tremolo. Guess it kind of sounds like a Wurlitzer. And let's see, I probably played the same thing over and over again. This probably isn't a loop. I was not into looping things at the time. Okay, there's some variation. Yeah. And then I would have had to do a different take because I would have had to figure out how to play this. Yep. That remains to this day some of the most complex keys playing that I can play. Then, okay, the studio that I worked at had a Mellotron. So this is probably a real Mellotron. And then I would have processed this and bounced it. Here's a great one. A friend of mine, Danny Capparella, came over and recorded some strings, and I don't think I had written anything. Danny's special talent, he can sing, he can play the hell out of the fiddle, right? But I remember we shot a music video one time, and everybody was just absolutely floored with the fact that this dude could just start writing parts on the spot. He would just listen, start playing along. And that's probably what we did. We probably just very intuitively did this. I mean, we probably just recorded this in my apartment. But I mean, other choices that Danny made here. Yeah, super interesting chord choices, but oh yeah, I remember this. I remember telling him and kind of telling everybody that I wanted the second chorus here to sound like entering the gates of heaven, which is why we have Danny playing like that. We have the Mellotron and the strings here and a harp that I don't remember. Oh, it was I guess I didn't know a harp player, so let's see what this sounds like. I mean, that doesn't sound fantastic to me now, but maybe yeah. I mean, it's a really small texture. And I must have felt like it needed a little bit more body because there's some synth. But that's not a synth. That is the Cassiatone keyboard. It's just like a learning keyboard. And this is like, they had a funny synth setting on it that I remember being very enamored by. So all together though, you get this. And, you know, lest we forget Shannon here, who has the voice of an angel. Yeah, I guess that kind of brings us up into the vocal here. Maybe there's this little tiny detail here that, let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that just felt very dreamlike to me. And I think Ryan harmonizes this down here. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, so like I mentioned, Shannon is one half of the band Microchild, and I asked her to sing on this. I don't remember entirely what I had asked her to do. I know we definitely wanted some backing vocals. Maybe at some point I had asked her to do some of the leads over here. Looks like she harmonized with me at some point. Shannon is definitely louder and more verbed out in the real mix. But I remember. I don't know if I asked her to do this, but this was a great choice on her end. She like harmonized this with me. You come and stay with me for a while. Yeah. And I remember, and this became a thing that I wanted to really consciously work on as well. My Tomorrow accent in this track was not great, and my like cadence was off. And so I remember she didn't sing these parts because I wasn't lining up the words correctly, but it ended up working really, really well here. And then she helped me correct a part that I wrote over here. Listen to the voices. I wanted to have that, and I think she helped me like get either the pronunciation of the rhythm down. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember that was wrong, and then she helped me correct it. What else is going over here? So it sounds like, it looks like there's she doubled both of the parts to help thicken that up, and it is awesome. And it looks like I was kind of riffing over here. Listen to the voices. Yeah. By this point, I would have taken some vocal lessons, but I definitely remember kind of starting the journey of my voice evolving after I recorded this. So this is kind of early on in me discovering, especially like the softer, more like soulful kind of tones in my voice. Let's see what I did mix wise, I guess. I definitely did not have the ear that I do now. Okay, like the 1176E kind of thing. A little bit of channel EQ, EQing out resonances. All right, I had some decent ideas, de-essing. Nothing crazy going on. All to say, this was a track that I realized less is more. Before this, I was making like rock music and stuff before this. And this was the first time I really chilled out into something like this. And because it was my first time doing that, I was very cautious with like any move that I made. I really, really wanted to be confident in it. When I did this too, and this kind of expands to maybe a bit of a philosophy on covers that I have. There's a lot of different types of covers. When I got to meet one of my heroes, Johnny Sablon, he actually told me about this when he was making his music, which is he thinks about the song itself and then the musical environment that it lives in, right? And this song is so specific and so idiosyncratic in many ways, right? So I didn't want to touch the song itself, right? I wanted to recontextualize the musical environment that it lives in. I didn't change much with the lyrics or how it was performed. I changed some of the phrasing, right? I made sure that it sounded like it was coming from my voice. But they really wrote, Marianas Homegrown wrote the blueprint, wrote the script, right? And so it's just me trying to interpret that. And I just took a little bit of a different angle with how I performed it. And then the musical environment kind of breathes a different meaning into the song, right? I think this feels a little bit more romantic. The original has this deep, deep sense of like fondness and nostalgia. That's, I think, why it resonates so deeply with like the people of Guam and abroad. But this is a very like inward facing track, right? This feels very, very intimate, and it feels very very quiet overall. The ending of the song, the big ending.
Listen to the voices.
That's probably where a lot of other songs would start dynamically, but because it's so mellow, because it's so small, that feels really big, relatively, by the end. So I have a lot of appreciation, a lot of fondness for this song. It's led me in a lot of different directions. This song, my cover, is kind of the centerpiece of the first film that I got to score. This kind of serves as the central motif that the rest of the score develops out of. For that reason, I am so eternally grateful to Marianas Homegrown. And yeah, that's Inner Voices. Go check out the original if you haven't, and check out my version too if you hadn't heard that. I will see you next time.